Good morning, everybody. Good morning, all. I'm delighted to have you here once again and to give update. And if you note what I've been doing, it's just to give update on Euro USD. And if you look at DXY, uh, it's not exactly the same. You will find here. Okay, maybe exactly the same, maybe the inverse of it, so you can see what DXY also is doing with this seller's pressure, the move, by the, the sellers. So let's go back. So it's okay, it's pretty much the same. And we tag this as an ending structure on the DXY for possible move to the upside. Now let's go to our instrument, which is the Euro USD. So it's exactly the inverse of the DXY. Now, there are a couple of things I want you to get here. We have said quite a whole lot of things about this structure, about the fact that we have been on a downward trade for a long time, about the possibility of this one being a three structure, which is wave 3 of the cycle, and this one being a possible 4, that we're supposed to still see a possible 5 to the downside. And the fact that this one had gone up more or less in a 5-wave structure, cast a doubt that could this now be a 4, and could this come to the downside? And we have said, we have given a limit to what a 4th can do in terms of this structure. And we said, once we break that limit, then we should forget this won't be a 4th anymore. That is a change of trend. So these are the levels that I give us, 1 and 2, where we have the fenestrated red and this line. This is the limit here. And the first limit is where this is, sitting. So we have said a couple of things, so which we are still going to be seeing. Now, a whole lot of game is being played at this level, but now we're going to focus our attention on, can we sell right now or not? Can we sell right now or not? Now, most likely, this week might close with this hammer. Most likely, this week might close with this hammer. So this week is going to close in about 4 hours or thereabout. Once the market opens, tonight, it's going to close, and we're going to see the way it's going to close. Either it's closes like this. So we'll see what's going to happen. Now, can the price still break this top? Certainly, yes. Price can break that top. But this is not yet a good price action that confirms that the sellers are in to push the price to the downside. It is not yet on the weekly. It is not yet. So I want us to pay attention. And if you want to sell, you have to be cautious. You can't just sell at any point, And if you go to the daily, now I'm interpreting the price action. I've not gotten into what the structure is telling us. So the price action alone on the weekly. So on the daily, now, this might be the first indication that we have, this is wave 3, like I said, and we are thinking that, okay, this wave 4 was probably a bit elongated, and there were lots of manipulations to waste time deliberately here. Now, we said that once we go beyond the limit of 4, that might be an early indication of the fact that we want to do a bigger correction. So it's better for us to think in terms of a bigger correction than to think that we want to do with 5 of that bigger cycle structure. And the way price is going to now navigate to the downside, or downside, yes, then we now know if it's going to be 5 that we are doing, or in natural fact is a bigger correction. So what we are saying is that this thing needs a bigger correction, which we are not seeing yet. And we've been waiting for this bigger correction, but we are not seeing that yet. I don't expect, even if price breaks the top, like I said, I don't expect that is going to go for too long before they change the tide. At least this thing needs minimum of a bigger correction, minimum of a bigger correction. So you don't certainly want to begin to buy, but at the same time, you don't want to sell blindly. If you had picked yourself from top here, it'll be fine for you. Now, the way this price action is going, and it's going to close, sends a signal of a bullish presence if it's going to close like this. But having said that, yeah, it might be a signal of a bullish presence, but for how long is it going to go? For how long is it going to go before the bears take over, except they want to eradicate the ending structure? Now, having said that, we are going to pay attention here. Let me bring my structure again. Now, we have said that after this 3, with 3, and this is 4, this is 1 of ending structure, this is 2 of ending structure, and 3 was elongated. This is 3 of ending structure, and 4 is what we said we should have around this level. Now, in a corrective format, of course, we know that 4 can get to the territory of 1. This is 1 here. Already is encroaching on that territory of 1. That is what I want us to see, is encroaching on that territory of 1. So this may have as well, gone or go for 4. That is what I'm saying. It may as well be the end of the 4. But we're still going to dig more into that to know, because when you are trading, you have to be patient all the time. You have to be patient. Then you can see again that this, after reaching this plateau of 3, price had been in this mess for how long? Let's look at it. For how long? On the weekly now. This is the plateau of 3. 1, 2, 3, for 3 weeks. So, you don't want to, if you want to be impatient, you are going to actually go against yourself if you want to be patient. So you have to look at the structure and what the structure is offering you before you say you want to dive. And at the same time, you don't want to also miss the important level of entry. So now, the way it has come to me now, this is the lowest level here before this move. So we can probably now term this whole level, look at it as if it is A here. Then this move, which was the highest here, then we can now push the highest to this level. This is daily time frame, please. We can push this to this level as a B. Let me just do away with this. So we can look at this as a B, and that a C may just be this to end our 4. To end our 4. There are a couple of things that we're going to check before we confirm that if we are selling or not. So now, this is what is giving us. This move, to me, is an impulsive move. Because it's an impulsive move, may just tell me that we are now about finishing 5. So if we break the top, it means a leading diagonal is going to be created. If we fall short of 3, that is an ending diagonal. So what we are trying to adjust our mind is that this is a diagonal. From here, it has shown that it's a diagonal. So it could be a diagonal or it could be a nest. If it's a nest, then all these are manipulations and they are still part of wave 3. If it's a nest, I see part of it wave 3 that is going to be now elongated and the price will push further up. But once the price breaks here, either a nest or not a nest, whatever it is, once the price gets here and break here, then we know that definitely this is not wave 4 anymore. It's a new trend. So we're taking it. So the possibilities of a nest, that's a remote for now. That is still not in view for now, but I'm just saying that. Now, there is a diagonal, confirmed that this is a diagonal. So what kind of diagonal it is, we want to see. We'll soon find out. If it's a leading diagonal, in a leading diagonal, you know that when you see a wave 1 and the 5th wave of a leading diagonal, usually we break the top of wave 3. Now, before they now do a bigger correction of wave 2. Then if it's an ending diagonal, because now we are going to see some clarity. If it's an ending diagonal, then it won't break wave 3 and it's going to begin to fall and break down from there. And instead of now thinking of wave 2 correction, most likely it might just be the 5 cycle, the big wave 5 cycle that may break the bottom again. So we need all that clarification to, get clear to us around this area. So if it's a leading diagonal and it breaks 3, then we will have wave 2. Now, what is the importance of all of this? That we are talking of diagonal. Because it's a diagonal, you don't want to still buy. That is what I'm saying. You don't want to buy. This is the level of 3. This is where this thing has corrected to. So what do we expect? Even if you're going to sell, we expect at least a correction of 50% for it to be a deep correction that will correct wave 2, in 3 waves format to the downside. This that we saw to the down, it is not yet the big correction that we're waiting for. So I want us to get there clearly. It is not yet the kind of big correction we're expecting. So once we break 50 proper, then we can now say that, yes, we are now doing a big correction. But you can miss a whole lot of pips here if you are not doing your counting properly. Assuming this has been the turnaround point, what are we saying? If you're going to have a 50% at least correction to the downside, what we are saying is that from here, considering this as the turning point of 3, which is here, a 50 now means that I'm going to be using something to mark that. Let me use a deep blue here. Yes, let me use a deep blue here to mark that. I will use a deep blue to mark all of that, so we know where exactly. Good. So a 50 is here. At least we should have a correction that will get to that point. And that point is 1.01362, at least minimum, before price may push up again. That is what we are expecting. So that is the level. And if increases the price may do a 61.8, which is here, at 0.999931, and price may also do a 76, which is 0.98174, and the least the price will do if it's a leading diagonal is 0.85, 85.4, which is there. So now we are expecting that in between these two, here and here, that is where we expect at least price will not fall short of this point and will not go beyond this point. If this is a leading diagonal, and we're going to correct with 2, I hope somebody is getting that. If price didn't break this, but if price didn't break this, like I told you, then most definitely it's going to be an ending diagonal, which may mean that price may break this structure to the downside, this last structure to the downside. But if price should break this above, then it's looking like a leading diagonal. If it's a leading diagonal, we're going to have a new high that will change this, and this. So you pay attention. But we are just using this level for now as an example to teach, So, and you can now see how when we give levels and all of that, that things can change based on the structure, the new structure that is going to be formed. Okay, so you must know that. You must know that. You must know that. The buyers have not been able to do better in the last 1 month, and even more than 1 month now. If you consider from, let me go there again. Let me go there again to see what they've not been able to do in the couple of how many weeks now. So from here, this is from here. Let's see. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks, in about a month and a half now. We have been in an ending diagonal in about a month and a half. So ending diagonal in about a month and a half. And so we are still stuck there. We are stuck in the ending diagonal for about a month and a half. So the sellers have not been able to, from here, a month and a half, they've not been able to do much to push the price up. And clearly, so it's an ending diagonal. So even if you look on the daily, see, it's still an ending diagonal in the last, how many weeks now? So you can see from here, the price is still below. But we are just being careful, to plunge. You don't want to sell from this low level, because if they decide to push the price above, it may break your account, because it might just be a leading diagonal. But now, let's now begin to dig into what has happened here. We said in a diagonal, we expect most of the time the price to encroach, 1. And if that happens, if there's an encroachment into 1 now, this is 1, there's an encroachment into 1 now. And it's looking like as if, we are changing direction to do at least a big correction. But then, maybe not until we have price action below or at 50. But unfortunately, what we are seeing here is a price action for that upward movement. That's where, we have to be very careful. But it's an early indication that we are breaking that level. So let's look at it again. So from 2 to 3, we are saying that 38.2 was broken, and price actually now broke 50. So we now saw a price action, a bullish move from that 50. because this might just be an early, but then let me just say that once we have this happening in the first place, the pressure is gradually coming in from the sellers to change at least direction for a bigger correction. That is what we are saying, but maybe it's too precocious now to say we want to sell. Yeah, and these are manipulations that they do. So at 50, at 61, at 61, if this is 50, let me now make this. Okay, that's 50. Let me now bring it down to, yeah. This is 61. That is 61. So we need to actually get to this point to say, yes, for sure, 50 is completely compromised. I'm trying to be as accurate as possible, but don't mind. Yeah, okay. So that is as accurate as possible. Let me still go on this one and still make it, yeah, the way it was, yeah. So now with this, let's now go inside a 4-hour candle to look at it very well. Yeah, a 4-hour candle to look at this very well. Now, so technically, this one still looks like a 4 now, but a 4 with a whole lot of question mark. A 4 with a whole lot of question mark to me. A 4 with a whole lot of question mark to me. A 4 with a whole lot of question mark. And I will tell you why it's with a whole lot of question mark. So a 4 with a whole lot of question mark to me. Now, why I said that, if this is the height of 3, and this is A of that 3, and this is B of that 3, which is the second wave. So these had been more or less like a wedge, flats and flat and flat, couple of flats and couple of flats here. So which may say this is 1, 2, 3 and X, 1, 2, 3 and X and X. And before we now had this such. So this is not an impulse, to the downside. So it's more of a flat correction. So which is a 3-wave structure to the downside. And this also had gone up like a 3-wave structure to the downside, to the upside. Is it a 3-wave or is it 5-wave? This is 1 and a 2 and a 3. So more like that. If you want to force it, you can say this is 1 and a 2, and this cannot be a 5. And this cannot be a 3 because 3 is not the just is smallest. So you can't say all from here to here. It gives you a 1, and this will be a 3. So this is not a 3 in terms of an impulse. So it is still like a flat correction of 1 and 2 and a 3. That's the way I will see it. 1 and 2 and a 3. That's the way I will see it. So this is still a 3. But we expect the last one to be a 5-wave. If it's a flat, which is 335, if this one is going to be a C. Does it look like that? Maybe. In that case, so we can say this is like a 1 and a 2 and a 3, maybe a 4 and a 5. So to make this one a C, and I don't know if you're getting my point. This is like a 1, a 2. So it's like a 1 here, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So this can be a C. And before we now have a new move, to ride, this is an impulse, clearly an impulse on 4 hour, clearly an impulse. So now, what are we going to do now? What we are going to do here is now, we are not going to regard this as the last wave. We're going to regard this as the last wave. So you can see how things can change when you're trying to, also you are going to align yourself because we felt 4 could have finished there, and this could have been a 5, and this could have been a leading an ending diagonal, and we are moving down. But this has not actually moved down in a way that I want, because if you want to look at this also from here, you can see this is on the 4 hour, this is 1 with 1 and with 2 and with 3. So if this one is a flat to this side, then you should see another flat in the middle that will correct A, B, and a C, and after that, you're going to have the last one, probably that will drag price close to where we expect to end. But that is not what we are seeing now. That is not what we are seeing now. This is an impulse. This is an impulse. This is an impulse. Because this is an impulse, even if it's going to be a correction of X, because in a multiple, if you're going to have a 3-wave structure to the downside of a correction, which is a bigger correction, so we're going to see the first wave of 3, which is 1, 2, and a 3, which is A of that triad. Then the C will not be, which is the X, will not be an impulse. Then before we have the second correction, which is another A, B, and a C, to give us the second triangle. If you're starting with the first as a flat, second flat, another X before we now have the last one, which is going to be a 5-wave. So that is not what we are saying now here. So we are looking at all this possibility. We'll still regard this one as what, wave 5 going up, and the possibility to either break or not. Now, this being an A and this has been an a B. If you look at it from this top to this level here, this is clearly at 85.4. Because it's clearly at 85.4, now tells me that the last one might just be at 100. It might be at 100. So an extension at 100, but it is not all 123. Is that what we are seeing here? Clearly not. So there is a whole lot of manipulation here, but we're going to still stick to what we think. That's from that level, we want to do an extension now to that place, which is of A back to the highest point of B to give us an extension. 100 is here, and 123 is here. Price broke 123. Price got to 1.48. That's clearly does not cut it for me. But when they are doing manipulation, let's still regard that as a manipulation. Price does not actually cut this as 100 or 123 for me. So that's, yeah, it looks like a flat, but price does not cut it for me. A flat, 1, 2, and a 3. So, but be that as it may, if you even think that, okay, this is going to be a zigzag, if it's going to be a zigzag, where you have this one as the first move, and this is an A, and this is a B, and we're going to have a C for price to push further down, if that is going to be the case for us to have a 3 to the downside, if this is going to run like a 5 waves to the downside, it's not impossible, but you must know the limit of all that permutation as well. You must know. Do I need this anymore? I don't think I need this anymore. It's done its work. Let me take it out. So, but what we can now begin to align ourselves now is, let's begin to align ourselves in terms of this new structure. Let me change this. Let me change that. Let me change this also. we're trying to align ourselves in terms of a possible new structure that we are seeing. This also has done its work. Let me push it away from the field now. Let me push it away. And I don't need this one. Okay, if I need it, maybe I will need it here. Maybe I will need it here. And let me change the color. So we are still looking at this as a potential, a downtrend or a deeper correction where this one is A, B, and a C of this wave. So if that is what we are looking at, so from here, which is A and a B, so what kind of correction is that? If it's A and a B to the downside, if B has gone low in terms of this wave, we're looking at possibilities. This is at about 1.4. So if there's about 1.4, all this one could be, it now could now give us a possibility of expanded flat to the upside. So it can give us a possibility of an expanded flat to the upside. But even if it's going to be an expanded flat to the upside, it shouldn't really break this top. Should it? It shouldn't break this top because we are looking at this wave. So, which now means that if that is what we are looking at, expanded flat to the upside, then this shouldn't be more than 123, which is where this is now. Which means price should not break this level. If we are thinking of that, then if you are going to take it as an extension and not like a retracement, so we take it from here to this point, back to this point. So of course, 100 will click here. Okay, 100 will also click here, which is 123, and the 123 will be at this level. So what we are telling ourselves is that if it's indeed is a correction of this leg of A, B, and C, we shouldn't violate this point. In fact, we should see a reaction for further downside that will now break below here for us to continue. But the way this had gone up does not give me an assurance that we're not going to break the top. I don't think you're not going to break the top. But anyhow, you should know once 90 is taken from here, because this is a new wave. Sorry, I didn't pick the right thing. I want to believe I'm not confusing you now with too much of this possible scenario that may play out. So the new 90 will now be here. If we should come up to this level and break it, then we're going to break the structure to the upside. That's the meaning of that. So for this wave to be a corrective wave of A, B, and a C, these is at the limit. So the limit is, there are things we'll tell ourselves. These are the limit for now. The limit of between about 40 to 47 pips. That's the limit that price will play. But having said that too, the way you're going to align yourself also is that if price should give a reaction around this level, because now I want to believe that with this, the way this one are closed, these and these and these, we're going to see some correction. The correction is that these may play up for a while to give an ending diagonal in itself, that will just burn out for us to have a deeper correction. So at that level that we are going to see a deeper correction, just look for a 50. And if you are picking, if you had coming from this point, if you had entered a sell from this point, once you begin to see a correction, look for at least 50% correction that you're going to have a wave 2 of this particular structure and get out from there. And now wait for, for that correction to be completed for more upward movement or whatever price action we're going to see if you're going to break the top. But it looks like as if we're going to break the top once more. That's the way what I'm seeing here. It looks as if we're going to. So this one is still going to go and go up and go up, like it's going to wedge out. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's going to wedge out, burn off, then have a deeper correction of 4-hour time frame for this entire wave, and you exit at 50. And that's why I say that if you know how the structure is aligned and wave is aligning, and you're on the wrong side for now, you know how to get out. Because if you are at this level, maybe at this point, this is where you have entered or whatever at this point, or you may say, okay, oh, you enter, this one came down as an engulfing candle and you enter at this level, now you are in a negative. So what the price will still make it down a bit after correcting this, after this one burns out. So you must be watching, and at 50, just get out, exit, and wait for further action. So, but these may still go up. I won't want to, suggest that, yeah, maybe from this top here, if you enter a sell from this top, if price will come up here again, if you enter a sell, you may hold and still watch what price is going to do, breaking above here. Because what ultimately we expect to see is that if it is a new low here now, the new low and the whole of the year from here is 4, then where the price should at least terminate now will now be this. From these 3 to this level. So our 123 will now come up to this point. There is 123. And 141, maybe at this level. These are the possible area of a sell. If this happens, once we break here, these are the levels I want to begin to look for myself. Maybe from this level 2. This will be another good level, but I want to see. This is another good level. This one has just formed like 1, 2, and a 3 to finish that B wave. So we're not going to see the 5-wave structure, which changed. And now the last level will still be at the tip of this. Yeah, at the tip of that. So to finish 5, which will now be a leading diagonal in that case. Once we get to that point, it's a leading diagonal. So not an ending diagonal. So if it didn't break here, it's still an ending diagonal. But the way price is trajectory moving up might just suggest that we might be seeing a leading diagonal in the making and not an ending diagonal. So we are going to follow this new wave and see how it's going to progress. So if you go to the 1-hour time frame here, yeah, so we are seeing a formation of probably trying also to end this. It's going to end in 5 waves for sure, 5 waves to the upside, then before a bigger pullback on the 1 hour for wave 2 of this. That is what we're going to see. So if we see what has happened here, let me try on 1 hour to show you. This is the first wave that went up and this is the second wave of this, and this is the third wave of it. So let's see. From wave 1 to here. Now, this had given us more than 61, almost at 76. So that's a wave 2 to the downside. That's what it has clearly given us to the downside, wave 2. So we're going to follow that. I'm teaching us something here. Yeah, to follow this one, it's going to be a bit messy. I can't be measuring this and all of that. So, but again, for the sake of teaching you, let me do something. I will take it out later. I will take it out later. I will take it out later. For the sake of teaching you something, I will take it out later. On 1 hour, I'm trying to give you all that I could give you, but I'll be taking it out later. So that's where 2 is. So that's where 2 is. There is a limit of 1 here. That's the limit of 1 here. So we, for this one going up to be a 3, it should be at least 1.68. So from 1 to this level, back to where 2 is, which has this purple. Now this is 1.68. Clearly, these are qualified for a wave 3 of that move, okay? It has qualified for wave 3. So this is impulsive, qualified for wave 3 of that move. And this might just be the beginning of 4 that we are seeing. We're going to see 4 of that move to the downside. And with that 4, it's going to run its own ending diagonal, maybe around this level. Then we'll now do a bigger pullback to run wave 2, to the downside. And from that bigger pullback, once this one runs out and burns out, exit at 50, wait for what's going to happen an ABC structure, and of this first wave on 1 hour. So when you see this one forming on 1 hour, you're going to see it also forming on 4 hourly, and that's the way it's going to go. So let me take this out now. Maybe the 3 now will be playing around this area. With 3 probably is playing around that area for that structure. With 3, we're playing around that area. So we're not done with it, and it's still ongoing. So we might be seeing something playing out around this area. And after 2, it will break up. Let me go back to the 4 hour. Yeah. So after correcting this is quite impulsive. It's going to move and probably break this one. We might break this before the bigger correction. So, but don't lose sight of that correction on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour correction is what we're looking for, a 2. Then once you have a 2, you're going to have a 3 that will now break this one. The 3 will break this one. From the way this is going as a wave 1, the 3 is going to break this one. And after the break of this one, then you will be looking for a possible sell. So I don't know if I'd said a whole lot and I've helped you to see why we don't quickly jump into trades. But let's see this broken in relation to this, and once it's broken, it's taken, then we know. But from this impulse, it looks certainly like the last wave of 5 that we're going to have that, and that may continue for the next 1 week, a whole 1 week. Yeah, a whole 1 week. Then after breaking the top, then we'll see what we're going to get. So that marks the end of today's update. And after we finish all the nonsense, then that's when we now say, okay, we are coming. So we have not actually missed anything. As far as I'm concerned, we have not missed anything. So we're going to wait and give updates